Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community, and it's been another big week for Xbox. Before we jump into it, though, if you haven't yet, please leave us a review over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're at. Leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us in the rankings. We're still top dogs. When you search Xbox over on any of those platforms, we come up at the top.
Because of the reviews.
Yeah, because of the reviews. So if you haven't yet, or maybe if you haven't in a while, go leave us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it. Also, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by becoming a member over on YouTube. Come over, become a member. You get a loyalty badge. You also get behind-the-scenes access to our members lounge, which is happening just right after every podcast, where we talk more directly with the community with chat. Today, we're going to be talking in that members show about Twitch and streaming, because it's TwitchCon happening right now. Also, I brought something that I ordered that came that I've yet to open, that I thought we would open live.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't...
So come hang out, everybody, and a huge shout out to everybody who supports us. Also, Mr. McSpicy has a channel.
I do. Yes, I do. Yeah. Do you want me to
what
plug
is
it?
it?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's called Mr. McSpicy. Yeah, it's just basically right now, it's just like my... It's like my fever dreams. I'm starting to put a bunch of videos that I just randomly think of.
My favorite one that you've ever done is it's medicine for depression, I think, or something. And it's diarrhea.
No, it's yeah.
But it's with a video game twist.
It's a commercial. It's a Halo commercial for diarrhea.
Yeah, and it's as crazy as you think.
Yeah.
Come and check it out.
Yeah,
have a good chuckle.
It's just something I did to procrastinate my real job.
That's Mr. McSpicy on YouTube. You can also come follow my channel, X1 the Gamer, over on YouTube. We talk about all things Xbox all the time. And then Jordan's YouTube channel is called Shat. Just kidding. He doesn't have one yet.
No.
But one day.
We want to, though. I really think having you just read random letters
from people
and giving your opinions, that's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
Would be hilarious. Halo 5, Season 5, Halo Infinite Season 5, that's what I meant to say, is at an all-time high when it comes to numbers. We're looking at 18,000 concurrent players. This is multiplayer that we're talking of. This hasn't happened since April of last year, basically since Halo Infinite first dropped. The peak then was 20,000. This is on PC only. You can see this on...
well, it's on Steam only, so keep in mind these numbers don't count Xbox or PC Game Pass.
Yeah, so we can see these via Steam database. Yeah. So it bodes well. Consistent changes over time have led to this moment, where it seems like we're starting to hit our stride with Halo Infinite multiplayer. Where they were at the beginning, I remember they had that like 6-month delay where
I broke the camera.
Yeah. Remember they had that 6-month delay.
I will say this: they did get to that. What did Joe Staten call it? Seasonality, where they're consistently every let's say roughly 3-4 months.
Yeah,
upgrading, which I think is good. 4 seasons per year. I mean, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of the latest season, Jordan the Man? Is that what changes have caused people to jump in, do you think, in such high numbers? Because we didn't see this with Season 4. All of a sudden with Season 5, I think right off the bat...
I think it's a buildup of everything. Right?
Yeah, it's no one thing.
It's a buildup of changes they've made from Season 1, 2, 3, up 4, up to 5. But I think we said it before the show. A lot of it has to do with there's some flood cosmetics, which are really cool. And even you said, David, who'd have thought? People like customizing.
Well, because you can now customize your helmet, so you're not stuck to an entire suit.
Yeah, because they let you do cross-core helmet changes because it's the core. So anyway. But new game modes, huge updates to Forge, adding AI. Which is really good. Adding new maps, of course. And then I think probably what is going to excite most people, and mostly excited me, is halfway through this season, or roughly halfway through the season, we're finally getting Firefight back after being gone for 3 whole games.
Which is basically, for those that don't play
it's
Halo,
horde mode.
Zombie
yeah,
mode.
It's horde mode.
Yeah.
Now, I hope it incorporates matchmaking and stuff like that, like it did in Reach and stuff. But yeah, King of the Hill Firefight is coming halfway during the season.
Yeah, super exciting. Spicy, thoughts? Why the jump now? We didn't see this move with Season 4. Why now? Is it like Jordan said, do you agree? It's just changes add up over time. This is the point.
I guess, but there was a lot
critical mass.
I feel like there's a lot of customizations that like the flood armor that they're showing that you can get look super cool.
That can cost up to $30.
Actually, yes. That's funny. The armor costs $30. They've actually, which is interesting, the old armor sets, because now you can switch the helmets and stuff. People want to mix their helmets with other, outfits and stuff like that. Halo increased the price on the old outfits because people.
Why not? Makes sense.
Why not? Is because that's a douche. That's
Well,
kind of
here,
a dick move.
It makes sense to me. Buy now. You don't want to miss out. You're setting this precedent. You can get it now at this price, and if you wait,
Well, I feel like
$30 for
more.
one armor.
Well,
though?
I feel like I have a hot take on this.
give me your hot take.
So in the store, but I feel like there's also a problem within Halo that I think the anger is valid. If you taking any in-game store like Halo, Overwatch, Fortnite, if they put a skin on there for $200, it doesn't necessarily bother me. Like, if you feel that skin is worth that money to you, then buy it, right? I think where the problem comes in, and I think this is where it is with Halo, is I'm not going to say you can only earn skins in the store or through the store, but there's not as many ways to get cool skins through gameplay as there is just buying it. And I think that's where the frustration comes from. Like, for example, if you got like a crazy awesome pistol skin for getting 1,000 headshots with pistols, I'm sure people wouldn't be as frustrated when another pistol skin is being sold in the store.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a balance between the two. As for, I don't know, in-game stores have never bought, unless it's pay to win. Okay, if it's pay to win, that's a whole different story.
Sure.
But I don't know, because Fortnite, $30, I mean, although I will say with Fortnite, you are getting a...
I don't think Fortnite has ever hit the $30 mark. I think they've hit the $20 mark. Most of them are $14 and under. The $30 mark is a new high. Which
I think Call of Duty does. I don't know.
Blizzard's Battle Pass is on the $40 mark, which is, for me, a new high in price.
Yeah.
A Battle Pass is $40. That's Overwatch. A single skin for this game is $30. That's a lot. But I get, you know what? I actually think I agree with you. It was a hot take, but I think I agree with you.
And
if it's $30, if it's cool enough, maybe people will buy it, but it gives people the opportunity to.
It better be freaking cool.
But I do think the issue is, and actually they kind of remedied this a little bit in season 5. But I do think the issue is there's not as many in-game skins to earn. Think about Halo 3. You remember when you got the samurai armor for collecting all the skulls? You know, it wasn't necessarily a hard challenge, but you were like, "Yeah, I'm freaking awesome," and everybody saw it. And everybody saw it in multiplayer. They're like, "Yeah, that guy,
I'm freaking awesome.
That guy played." You know, and I think that's what Halo's missing now. They did add the Mark 6 armor for the rank up. Now that's good. I would like to see more of that. This is what frustrates me about Halo. I just get so angry.
What's so funny, Jordan, is this is actually like good Halo. For once, we have good Halo news. There's a lot of cool stuff that came out season 5. A lot of stuff coming mid-season. A lot of awesome stuff. Now go for it.
Yeah, well, no, it's just what makes me angry is there's so much potential. Like, for example, why can't we put a super awesome exclusive skin for getting 100 headshots with a sniper or any weapon? Look at Call of Duty. Look what they do. They give you golden skins for completing achievements. Now, I'm not saying the skins have to be golden or whatever, although they did add a golden sandwich. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, the sandwich.
That's probably the best.
Why can we not do that?
What he means by golden sandwich is probably the best news for this whole thing. It was a map that you can there's a Easter egg or something in there that you can unlock the superpower weapon, and it is a golden sandwich.
Yeah,
and
hilarious.
you can kill people one hit with the golden sandwich, and it comes up on the kill feed as a sandwich.
Yep.
That's dope. You
know what they should do? Like, for example, I just saw this guy with devil horns, right? Yeah. Probably not, but there he is right there. We're watching it. In-game store item, right? You know what that could have been? That could have been like you do 50 tea bags, you get devil horns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how cool would that be to add stuff like that in?
Yeah. Well, there is a balance that they have to take into account. Obviously, they need to make money, but obviously they need a player base. And it's that sweet spot. They're trying to find that sweet. Supply and demand.
I personally don't think it's that bad. I mean, you're obviously going to have the best skins in the store because that's the skin that's making money is who you put your best artist on, right?
Yeah.
But I think 1 to 3 skins on a weapon for completing objectives or challenges for that weapon, I think can be done, and I think would be really cool.
Well, here's the thing, though. They've been operating from a deficit with respect to trust, player base. This is the first time they're back at launch numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. That's good.
So from here out, we may now start to see exactly what you're talking about.
And what's awesome is I said this before the show. I feel like they're trying harder now that they have given up on this game than they did when they were actually trying.
So I think that's actually a misrepresentation. Just as far as it's not given up. They've reallocated resources clearly to just this.
Yeah, but didn't they get rid of a lot of 343 Studio, though?
They got rid of a lot of things that they were working on.
Giving up was a bad word.
Phrase.
Not caring as much as they used to.
Well, no, they're focused on just this, which makes sense.
Yeah.
You kind of need this long term. Let's say we're at season 5. The numbers are pretty high. You have to imagine on console they're even higher. You probably similar as far as on console, close to where you were at launch, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
If you think about it, and shows that live as service games. That's why it's so valuable for game developers because you can get people back. The core was always there with Halo. The foundation was always there. The gameplay was fantastic.
Well, yeah, and we've said that from the beginning with Halo Infinite. Yeah, it was
the way you it was the wrapper that you had in your multiplayer experience. It feels like okay. We're now breaking even, like as far as deficits with trust and where you're at perception wise. From here out, I think is where you can work more on these quality of life features, these incentives that you want.
And what is nice is kind of like Mark said, it's nice to have a string of good news for Halo because for a while there it was like, hey, we're letting everybody go. And you're like, oh, shoot, that sucks. What's going to happen to the game? Oh, hey, by the way, we're not doing the cinematics for multiplayer anymore. And you're like, okay, well, there that goes. It's
story.
It was just. So anyway, I don't know. I still get frustrated with Microsoft because I think they have done very poorly with this IP that made them who they are.
Yeah.
And it's just frustrating. But hey, one good thing about Halo, and I'll say this every time a new season comes out, and I love this. This is the greatest feature Halo has, and I think all games need to implement this. I love that I can jump in and I can say, hey, I didn't finish my Season 4 Battle Pass. Let me finish that real quick, get the rest of those cosmetics, and then I'll jump into Season 5 Battle Pass. Genius idea being able to go back and choose what Battle Pass you want to do.
You don't think...
And it just sets up more content for the future.
You don't think it takes away from the FOMO, the fear of missing out aspect?
It probably does a little bit, but I think it's better for the players. I used to have that like when we first started playing Fortnite a lot, like when the John Wick skin came out, before it was called the John Wick skin and stuff like that. Like it used to be like, oh yeah, you can only get Reaper, you can only get this if you do that. And I think there is some.
Well, the FOMO still exists, David, because you're giving up your current season, which has the coolest stuff.
Yeah, so you have to do it later, I guess.
Subjectively, you're missing out on flood armor or whatever. So.
But what I'm trying to say is I like the oh man, that is a rare item. It's cool that person has that, but I think I'd rather have those items be attached to some type of gameplay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like wow, it was really hard to get those whatever challenge he did to get that. Now he has it. That's really cool, right? But no, anyway, I love the idea of the Battle Pass not expiring. Whoever had that idea is a genius. And in all honesty, it should be Phil Spencer, that guy, and then whoever comes next, because that was, I think, one of the greatest decisions Halo ever made. And I think more game studios need to do that.
David, it promotes more gameplay because you can finish that season pass or you can finish this current season pass, and then you still have something to look forward to later. You just switch it and go retroactively and work on that.
Well, I think what it does is, because remember we had like loot boxes, they were the big thing, and then everybody got tired of loot boxes. Now we have battle passes, they're the big things, and you can kind of feel the wear Like it's like, oh, I gotta log into Call of Duty again to do this, or I gotta log into that. With Halo, it's nice. I don't feel rushed. It's just like you said. I can go back and earn it. I can do what I want. Imagine this. Imagine if this would be a lot of content. But imagine if Fortnite was like, hey, all previous seasons are there. I mean, if you haven't purchased them, you'd still have to purchase them, but you can go back and earn all that stuff. How many people would flood to do all the old stuff to get all this? You know what I mean? I think you're right. I think it encourages gameplay.
It makes your player base expand a little bit more.
Huh.
I think David.
Well, speaking of
I think David's trying to tell us how wrong it is.
I think the numbers are pretty cool. I think the current player count is up 400%. I saw, which is around 60,000. A couple weeks ago, it was around 5,000. So
that's a good number to bring to the shareholders.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean that's no. It's I mean as a player that you want to find games quicker. You want the game to be exciting. You want to be able to play with your friends because they're now playing this game instead of other games. I think that's really good. I mean, that's what we wanted.
Another thing I just want to shout out that I like. This reminds me of old like arena shooters, like from the 90s and early 2000s. In this map that we're watching right now, it's the purple crystal. I forget the name of it, but it's got like the purple crystals, like the needler gun. You can shoot the environment and it'll damage. It'll like you can shoot a crystal and it'll send out crystals that'll hit other players. I like that environmental interaction.
Yeah, that's cool.
I feel like that's like, we got that a lot in like 90s, early 2000s shooters, like Unreal Tournament, where I like that. So.
Yeah, that's super cool. So on that news, so we have this good Halo news. First of all, when was the last time either of you jumped in and made Halo a part of your regular repertoire?
Well, part of regular
season. Yeah, what was the last season?
I played last season.
Yeah, but regularly?
Well, no. I mean, I jumped in, I tried it out, I jumped in here and there.
I'm saying like where you were like, all right, I'm
probably
doing the
season
Battle Pass.
like consistently playing every day.
Yeah,
probably like season 2, maybe a little bit of 3.
Okay,
and then I came back for 4 and played a little bit, and then kind of obviously we'll come back for 5 and play and
yeah. So will you guys?
But for your daily driver,
after seeing what you've seen here and seeing all the hype and all the details around season 5. Will you be back in making this a part of your regular repertoire?
I don't know regular, but I'd like to play it a couple times a week. Just for the new Forge stuff they added. They added AI to Forge, and you can now get a Battle Pass experience in custom games.
We didn't mention. Sorry to interrupt. We didn't mention.
No,
that too.
yeah,
the
but
AI in Forge is huge. You're gonna have a lot of new game modes, game types. Oh, did you say there's XP in custom games now? Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the bullet points on them. Yeah.
So keep going. Sorry.
No, that's it. No, that's nice because now you can do custom games with friends. It's a good update to the Halo game.
Yeah, Drew Stenik said he saw someone made a Halo Pokemon match in Forge, and we were actually watching that.
We watched that. Yeah.
Ah, the Pokemon. Oh, Pokemon.
Pokemon.
The Pokemon.
Pokemon. So Halo has this success. Starfield also, there were stats released on Starfield, and one of the big critiques against Game Pass has been Game Pass will prevent, you're going to miss out on sales. And you're going to miss out on those sales numbers because your game's in Game Pass. Lo and behold,
but
for the last month, Starfield, #1 in sales, physical and digital, not even close, #1 overall, thus disproving that sentiment.
Well, and I think that argument is a little bit ridiculous because the developer gets paid money for being on Game Pass, right? I mean, we don't know exactly how it works, but in certain situations and with certain developers, like I would even argue Bethesda, it's probably more beneficial for them to be on Game Pass than not.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But we're talking about brand new games. So the critique was, well, Starfield will never do as well commercially as a God of War because God of War you have to buy versus Starfield is quote unquote free.
Well, looks like they were wrong
on Game Pass. Yeah,
sucks to be wrong.
Sucks to suck, everyone. Sucks to suck. Now, who knows? Who knows where this stays? Where Starfield stays after this month? But they definitely were #1, followed closely behind by FIFA. Well, it's not called FIFA anymore. It's called Football Club.
I want to know how many people bought Starfield early to play and then returned it when it came out that Monday on Game Pass.
Wait, can you do that?
Sometimes.
Depends how many hours you get.
Depends on how many hours you get in, yeah. Although I did see, I've seen some pretty intense.
So let me ask you this. Starfield, I think Microsoft would be happy with Starfield being a flagship title for them. But with Halo coming back, and it looks like Xbox not giving up on Halo, like you said, Jordan, do you ever foresee a place where anything, not just Starfield, supplants Halo as the Xbox representative game?
Well, it's so hard to beat it because even now when you ask people, you can ask anybody of, I would say, around my age or higher. I would say, yeah, what they think of when they think of Xbox, and there's two things that they would think of. One would be Halo and the other would be Gears of War. I think those are the two most iconic Xbox titles.
Games,
like when you think of Xbox, you think that's Xbox.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like when you think, I would say when you think of PlayStation, you think, hey, Uncharted. Or you know what I mean? You'll think of it that are iconic to that. Or honestly, when you think of PlayStation, you think of Ratchet and Clank. Just different iconic titles that were on that console. I think Halo and Gears of War are those titles, and I don't think that goes away anytime soon, which is part of my frustration with Microsoft because I don't feel like they're giving. Before. I mean, I think they're doing better now.
Yeah.
Although I do think there's still a lot of room for improvement, but I don't think they're giving the respect Halo deserves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've said it before. I think Sony respects the IPs that they come out with, which is why we get really good God of War. Spider-Man's doing really well right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like Microsoft has dropped the ball on Halo a little bit, but I think always Halo will be the flagship title for Xbox because of what it did.
100%.
And I'm not talking just about Xbox. We have online gaming because of Halo. Like you can say like, oh, well, there was Xbox Live and stuff like that. Yeah, Xbox Live was there, but what made it popular and half the features we had on the Xbox 360 when that came out was because of Halo 2.
Yeah.
Like you guys remember 30-second voice chats? That was a Halo 2 thing, and then they put it on the Xbox 360.
Spicy, you think any does Call of Duty, for instance, ever replace, or I'm just talking a title that big with now the Activision Blizzard, with Bethesda as part of Microsoft, does anything ever replace Halo as the brand of Xbox?
Not until we're dead.
Yeah, when the younger generation comes in, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, because we lived through that. That was a big deal. Like Jordan was saying. Possibly. I mean, let's say in 10 years from now, Call of Duty is exclusive to the Xbox brand. And
World of Warcraft.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could. Call of Duty could. The thing, and when I say Xbox brand, I mean both console and Windows,
Yeah.
Because if you... in the competitive scene, you're going to need a mouse and keyboard and, stuff like that. But, yeah, anyways, it can. But right now, Jordan's right. Halo is the
Top
king
dog.
for Xbox. It could. I mean, you have games like Forza. Let's talk Forza.
Yeah, let's
But
talk
that-
about Forza.
But that's... yeah, Jordan has some thoughts. But that's like more niche. Mm-hmm. Halo is the first-person shooter for Xbox. And... first-person shooters have a lot. Their crowd base is just a lot bigger than a simulator racing game or a arcade racing game. So I don't know. Yeah, David. To answer your question, I think not right now.
Yeah, it's
hard. It's hard to do that.
You never know what's going to blow up. Like it'll take something really blowing up.
Like let's take Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
That was a great game. We
Yeah.
didn't even know it was coming, but. It's it's one of the Xbox titles, and it did phenomenal. We don't talk about that anymore very much because,
I mean, it's a 10-hour game.
well, Halo campaign is.
I think there's an achievement to beat it in like 5 hours.
Yeah, but there's no There's Halo is multiplayer, hence.
But it also is the campaign.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, Halo has three core
Halo
pillars.
Yeah, Halo 1. Gosh,
I mean, Halo 1 was
Combat
all
Evolved.
about campaign. Yeah.
When you go down and you have your enemy, you have your alien race, your enemy. You don't know what's going on. It puts you in the middle of a story. You cross the bridge. Okay, there's aliens. You go down. You make a bridge, go across. I'm playing the campaign in my head right now. And then you go to the jungle area, and then you go down, and then you realize you're looking at the helmet.
Yeah.
That has the replay, and then the flood comes in, and then you have a third enemy that's killing the enemy that you just killed. There were moments in that game that you can never take away from me because I will always remember. how iconic that campaign was.
Yeah.
I will say on the same thing, the multiplayer, going into my friends, having screens back to back, pizza, playing the multiplayer LAN parties.
See, and that
will always be in my mind as one of the great gaming moments.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think there has been any other game that has done that to that scale.
World of Warcraft.
Well, no. But like, hey, let's all lug half our house over to your house so we can all play a game. Ethernet cables. I mean, I think Halo spawned the next generation of the IT.
Well, for first-person shooters in particular, right?
Yeah.
Well, and then you have Gears, and then you have like the moments. I have moments throughout that campaign, and I would say that one even leans more heavily on the campaign, even though there's a huge crowd of the Gears multiplayer aspect. But there are moments that these games have in my mind that they can never be removed.
Yeah.
And they will always say Xbox to me.
Yeah.
OCTX Trucker says, when I think of Xbox now, I think Game Pass, but before it was Halo. That's a good point. Game Pass is becoming front and center. So, but even as part of that, if you look at like all the artwork, Master Chief is the biggest character in the artwork on Game Pass, or
physically and literally.
Yeah.
And
OCTX Trucker also says, I can see WoW being the flagship. Long term, I definitely could see something like that happening.
I don't know. I like World of Warcraft, and I have a lot of memories in World of Warcraft, just like, like in Halo, right? I don't think, like when I took down the Lich King for the first time in high school,
with his bare hands,
with my bare hands, and your friends, and you're on Vent or Skype, like whatever you were using. I mean, everybody tried to use Skype, but it sucked. So you'd go back to Vent, and then your mom would get mad because she'd think you're like downloading viruses onto the computer because she was watching like CNN or something, and there's all these 60-minute things. Anyway, so it was just a weird time, but.
It's just a weird time, man.
It was the Wild West of internet communication.
But I don't think modern World of Warcraft has successfully replicated that feeling of doing that stuff. Now that could be a bunch. I mean, maybe I'm older and I'm married and have kids and all that. So things are a little bit different in life now.
Yeah.
So maybe the kids in high school are having those moments right now. But I don't know. I think World of Warcraft, before they become. I mean, World of Warcraft's a big game, obviously, right? It's one of the top MMOs out there. But I think if World of Warcraft wants to be like, I don't know what it was, which would be very difficult because you're talking. Peak, what was the peak, like 15 million subscribers, something like that, something crazy. I don't know. I think they're going to have to make some core changes to World of Warcraft, modern World of Warcraft, because I believe there's two different games. There's World of Warcraft, which I would be we've seen it, your classic era. I would classic is World of Warcraft through Wrath of the Lich King and then Burning Crusade, right? And then you kind of have, I guess there's an in-between of Cataclysm and stuff, but like right now, modern day World of Warcraft, it doesn't have that same pull for me as it used to.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because maybe each expansion has been, I don't know, it feels like rinse and repeat after a while. I don't know, but it's just, it doesn't have the same feel. And I know a few reasons why it doesn't have the same feel. I think if they want to be like the flagship title and what World of Warcraft used to be, which I don't know if you can actually ever get back up to those numbers because of like the way gaming is today. I do think they're going to have to make some core changes.
So, Jordan, I read an article that had an interview with Phil Spencer this week, and it was about Overwatch. But I think it's going to relate to...
But he meant World of Warcraft.
well, no, but it's the mindset that Microsoft brings to the table. And a lot of Overwatch players are really excited about it because Phil Spencer said the previous mindset has been how much money can we make from the players?
Yeah.
How much that was like kind of the internal discussion. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But he specifically said the mindset is going to change to how do we improve the game for our players?
And it makes sense because Game Pass is now the business model is not what are we charging players for inside of Overwatch. It's does Overwatch bring players to Game Pass?
Yeah.
And that's and that got a lot of players excited because a lot of decisions that were made were not, cohesive to
Yeah.
to us. So the fact that he's having that discussion with Overwatch, it's obviously going to bleed into World of Warcraft as well.
Well, yeah, I hope so. Well, and I mean, World of Warcraft had good news of getting Chris Metzen back to oversee the story and stuff. So I think we're going to go back to.
And that was even before the acquisition.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think there is a chance that
hope.
Warcraft could see a lot of love and a lot of spike in player feedback and making it great again. If that's what you want to say. But anyways, so it
No,
could.
well. What's interesting about that comment is I would think. I mean, I'm not a business guy, but I would think that goes hand in hand. If you make a product the players want, they're more likely to spend more money on it, right? I mean,
Well, but you look at the numbers. Was it Bobby Kotick?
Okay, well, he did. I mean,
You look at the numbers before him, Blizzard before him, and that's when they were like in their prime. They're like, we're a great gaming company. Let's make games for gamers. And then the spike, huge jump in.
He may be the most hated guy in gaming. But he
made that company a lot of money.
Even when they dipped down, it still wasn't lower than what they were before he took over. Remember,
So his mind. That's the thing. The shift in the ideology of that gaming company is going to be changing a little bit because the last decade, was it 12, 13 years since he's been on? It has been how does this company maximize profits?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this. I feel like Blizzard in particular is afraid to take risks, and that's why I think their games are in the spot they are right now.
Agreed, but that's the same issue because we're in this transitionary period of how we consume entertainment. So I think it was who's the Good Will Hunting actor?
Matt Damon, Ben
I think
Affleck,
it was,
Robin
I
Williams.
think it was Matt Damon. Yeah, Matt Damon said the reason that you're not seeing Hollywood take chances and you're seeing sequel number 7 of something that they know will make money or brand IPs is because before you could make up, if you didn't make it at the box office, you could spend $100 million, and if it didn't do well at the box office, you could make that up via DVD sales on the back end.
Yeah.
That's taking it all away. So the business model has changed. So where is risk being taken in that industry? It's being taken in subscription services, Netflix, Amazon Prime, which, by the way, I saw a new season of Wheel of Time, and I almost watched it.
Yeah, I got the notification on my phone, and then I thought, well,
I'm like, I wonder what this is at.
Speaking of that, I just read an article that Brandon Sanderson, the co-author that wrote the last 3 books,
he finally watched it.
He's pissed. He
Yeah,
does
it's-
not like the decisions they've made to his story.
Yeah,
Well, why don't they just
His
at least
story.
At least with Game of Thrones, didn't they have George R.R. Martin there?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that's why everybody liked
He
the
didn't
first
even
few.
know how his book was going to end.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. At least he
But-
was there the first few seasons.
But back to it, that same transitionary issue with how digital games work now, how we're consuming our entertainment via video games, via digital purchase, is the same issues that big studios are having. So you're right, Activision Blizzard did not take risks. That's exactly what Phil Spencer said in the internal email, 3 years ago, that these big studios, the only way they used to be publishers, so they would be the middleman between all these independent studios. You had to go through them in order to get shelf space at the big box stores. There was a moat around them. Since nobody's buying video games from these stores, they lost that power as a publisher. So their power now lies in nobody's going to put in $1 billion to Call of Duty, to any first-person shooter, but we can and make it this big. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing less risk. They're not willing to take the risk because they have to make up that money on the back end if they do take risk and it fails. Game Pass, to Phil Spencer's point, Game Pass takes that away. Game Pass now enables these big studios to take risks. It also enables the little studios, gives them a platform. I think we're in this transitionary period, and it's just interesting to me how when things change, to me, the people arguing against Game Pass are people who in the 1915s were like, buggy whips, we'll still have. I'll stick with my carriage. The carriage maker. The carriage makers aren't going anywhere. These newfangled dangled cars. That's not happening. No horses? What the heck? That's not happening. That's what they are. This is it's changing, guys. We consume all of our other media, all of our other entertainment via subscription services. Why would we not consume our gaming media that way? Especially when, as far as entertainment is concerned, it's the most profitable, it's the most popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we buy the game twice. We don't even realize
on
it.
every platform we own.
Yeah, we don't even realize it. That's the thing. Like even with Forza, we could play it for free, or we could buy it
And we bought it.
and play it 5 days early,
Yeah.
and then still have
Yeah, so I'm very excited to see
smart model.
what happens to WoW, what happens to Overwatch. That's
I
gonna be
am
very
too. I
interesting.
mean, there's specific changes that I want with like Warcraft and Overwatch, and who knows how popular those are. But I didn't see that interview, so after
I'll
be interested.
I retweeted this about.
I read about it, but
No, I retweeted a meme, and it's not even a meme. It's literally a picture of a newspaper article in the mid '90s that says the internet is just a fad; it won't last.
well,
And
the internet was much different back then.
Yeah, but in other words, like whenever you're pioneering a new space, there is critics. It's and there's even bad actors in that new space.
Yeah.
But in the long run, if it's a great idea and it works and it benefits people, it becomes the dominant.
Do you ever think about
space.
like what we've been through in our lifetime, like technological wise, like just from 1995 to now?
I think about this daily, Jordan.
Well, and this is what I wonder. My kids will never experience that.
I don't know what's coming in the future, but I feel like I lived in the perfect time because I saw we've seen a shift like 12 times in society with our time period.
Yeah, I've literally been watching Christmas shopping at Toys R Us, 1992. Those videos. Have you seen those videos?
Yes, I have.
And like they go to the video game section, and it's Super Nintendo, and it's Super Mario Brothers that's on there 3, I think, and that they're showing off, and they're like, "Whoa, look how good this looks!"
Neo wasn't joking. This is like the perfect time of our society.
Yeah.
That's why the Matrix was built at that time.
Can I tell you what's not improved though? So my daughter has a lot of dolls, and one of the videos I was watching was this girl, like maybe 9 or 10, going through and showing all the dolls. Yeah, all the dolls do the exact same stuff they do today. Maybe today they do them like more efficiently, but
I think it's
they
one of those
poop,
things
they
like
pee, they have babies,
you've perfected it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
what
it
else
just
can
works.
you do? You know what I mean?
And my daughter's obsessed with all the same type of dolls. Whereas, like when they go to the video game section, it's wildly different. Wild.
Well, no, but just think about it. Like we went from corded phones in your house on a landline
Jordan,
to now
go before
I can
that.
play Halo on my cell phone.
Go
through
before
Game
that.
Pass. You know what I mean? Like it's through the cloud. Like it's just.
There was a
Crazy.
time, and this actually is my dad's really funny, and I've told this story on the show before. And he's a really smart guy, and I love the guy. But there was a time, David, to your point, that he thought the microwave was a fad. This was the 80s.
No one's ever going to use it.
My aunt bought him one, and that of course changed my family's life. But yeah, Jordan, even before the phone cord, I lived in a house that didn't have a microwave. Can you look at the shifts
I had to humble my kids a month or two ago because we were watching something and it had commercials because we didn't pay for like the premium subscription, and they were getting mad. And I thought at first I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, well, wait a minute, you know what? No, you guys are no. You got to understand this is how it was. You know what I mean? So I made them watch it. I didn't skip it when after 30 seconds I was allowed to skip it. We watched the whole 4 minutes.
That's funny.
Of what?
Because it was like a Red Lobster commercial or something. But I felt as if because I was like, you guys are so spoiled. I had to humble them.
Even watching movies, you had to rewind that damn tape.
Well,
yeah, that's one of the other
you
things.
have the thing, the bar
Browsing,
come across.
renting movies at Blockbuster in 1995.
Yeah, if you didn't rewind it, you got charged more.
Yeah, I'm like,
It was like the
I'm like
99-cent rewind fee.
We had a rewinder.
yeah, I'm like subscribed to all these channels that go back, and it's hilarious. I love it.
No, yeah. I feel very blessed, that and lucky that I lived in a time where the world has shifted technologically and many other ways several times.
Well, what's crazy?
It's crazy.
And I actually think about doing this to my kids just, again, to keep them humble. I remember one time I picked up the phone while you were playing StarCraft in the kitchen with our neighbor across the street, froze the whole game. We weren't rich enough to have two lines.
The dreaded connection pop-up. I hated that. That's when somebody called my house. I don't care. Don't call my house. I'm playing Tides of Darkness.
So my wife works at a elementary school. She teaches first graders, or did. And she explained to them, because I told her that story. We're like, how? And she was explaining like, oh yeah, we didn't have touch things and this and that, Netflix, and the kids were like so confused, like, well, where did you what? And she said, well, if you wanted to play a video game, you couldn't answer the phone and play a video game at the same time, and they could not comprehend it. Like it's just like Wait, what do you mean?
It's because all those first graders have their own phones.
I know, yeah, it's crazy.
All right, speaking of shifting, let's talk about some Forza. First, we're gonna start with Spicy. Spicy, how's your Forza going? Oh my goodness!
No, I broke it again. That's twice I broke the camera.
Maybe I'll start with how my Forza's going, shall we? I'll go. Forza for me this past week, I am just focused. First of all, I'm loving the game. I am 100% focused on just improving, and that means that I get kicked in the nuts frequently.
Who doesn't?
And I like it.
That's fair.
Yeah, because you see
There's
yourself,
websites dedicated to that.
Yeah, you see yourself. You
And
see
parts of
yourself.
town.
Yeah, parts of town.
Yeah, you see yourself.
I know a guy.
You see yourself improve and get better. In fact, Jordan Mann watched me get first place in one of my races today. This was Drivatars. I'm still at Drivatar 6, so I've not improved up in difficulty. I have 0 assists on. I'm on simulated steering.
Well, okay,
I'm on manual.
I wouldn't say 0 assists. You know what I mean?
I have the braking line.
You're not
That's
Lewis Hamilton out there.
and I have braking lines. That's it.
Let's be clear.
That's it, though.
Yeah. Okay.
But
You also have shifting without clutch. That is technically an assist.
Also,
No,
you don't have damage enabled.
yeah, I do. I have damage.
You have damage
100%.
Oh yeah, he does, because he got winged and he had to go into the pit.
Had to go into the pit during practice.
And that pit was crazy.
That pit was dangerous.
Yeah, people. Yeah, woo.
I've seen some clips. It can get crazy in there.
That was the spa.
Yeah, that pit was whoa.
That's a dangerous course, man.
Problem with Europe, the roads are too small.
But I play a little bit every day. I've only been doing single player, which, fun fact, only less than 10% of all the player base has done the most basic multiplayer task yet. So multiplayer is not yet there. I think that is a statement to how much slower single player goes this time. I'm sure most players like myself, I'm not diving hardcore into multiplayer.
Multiplayer or single player?
No, multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
He's not going.
I'm not going into hardcore into multiplayer until after.
I just watched. I got pissed.
See, I have
this is my gameplay.
See, you know how many times I've held down Y and then I forget, oh, I have that disabled, and then I just have to get last place.
Yeah.
But until I get good at Forza, and that's what I really like about this game. And I see an improvement over time. The more you race, especially as you take off the assists, you improve, you get better, you get faster, you really learn the courses. And it's been very enjoyable playing that way.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of players, because it's so slowed down, you have to do practice first. Then you roll through, each race. There's usually five races in a circuit. I think that slows it down, which is why those multiplayer numbers are so low right now.
Yeah.
Spicy, how's your Forza treating you? I compared our stats today, by the way. We're basically have played the same amount of hours, the whole shot.
So, what did the stats show? Like, does it show you're better than me, or am I?
No, you've definitely done more multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think I probably have one more You have one more. You have like a few more multiplayer achievements than me, and I have a few more of the single player achievements. But like, we're both at 13 hours and something minutes.
Gotcha.
Jordan's way more efficient. Jordan's at 7 hours, half our time, and has like double our gamer score. But it's because there's a lot tied to multiplayer, and I think Jordan's exclusively a multiplayer at the moment.
Also, he's only played with me, so I'm shaking bacon him into the front line, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
Well, Spicy, how are you enjoying your Forza?
No, it's really good. I don't know. I feel like I'm doing campaign. I think I'm trying to balance it because I just finished a circuit not too long ago. You get stuff as you play the single player.
Yeah.
Or do you still continue?
Yeah. You get. I mean, so you unlock the cars to purchase
Exactly.
for that class.
Yeah. So I've been trying to. I would say multiplayer is more fun, but I'm trying to dip my toes into the single player campaign for the unlocks that it provides me.
Yeah.
I what I like about this game is you're right. It's slower. I like getting to know a vehicle, and in Forza Horizon, I feel like that didn't happen nearly as much as this because I need to learn the car to improve. I don't know how else to describe it. The cars feel vastly different.
Yeah.
The performance that you unlock and do a whole bunch of stuff. I feel like the cars, I get to know the cars. There are cars that I haven't even touched yet, but because of how this game is formatted, I am diving into each car a lot more and getting to know it a lot better. And I like that. I enjoy it. This is not a game I play when I have, I don't know how to describe it. I go to this game just to relax when I have, 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm done. I do not play this game for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's actually how I've been. I do a race, maybe two races every day before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Just to work on my shifting. I'll tell you what, when you move to shifting to manual, you tank and you freaking suck. But now I'm starting to get
You're
good
back
with it.
up. Here's the thing,
It's
though.
muscle. It's just muscle memory. Like it's just making it so that you don't think while you're turning corners.
Yeah,
it just happens.
I got to get to that point because right now I'm working on just lines and braking correctly and working on the lines that I want. And I feel like if I work on shifting and that, I don't think my brain can handle that at this point.
Yeah, you would get. I was very frustrated, but it only took me, I would say, one series before I became more competent.
I got to get
was
to the
enjoyable.
I just got to get to the point where it becomes second nature with the shifting.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that takes, I would say, for me, it took probably two of the circuit series going through.
Oh, that's what that's a lot.
To
That's
where
like
now
5 hours.
Yeah, but to where now I'm expecting to compete.
Okay.
Like with my drive against the drive cars. My drive car difficulty is only at 6. So it's not the top, but it's not bad.
Asking me to play 5 hours of being upset.
Well, here's the thing though. So you're working on driving lines. When you go to shifting, all of that changes, which is why like it throws which is why I recommend
Not the lines should stay the same, shouldn't they?
Yeah, but the way, the
braking would change.
The braking changes
because you're downshifting.
The braking changes, and that's
But
what
the
throws you on everything. It becomes 1,000% more nuanced on the braking and the accelerating.
I got to do that, but I've also been different.
Jordan was watching me shift today.
Yeah.
You were impressed, weren't you?
Yeah, it was good.
He was impressed. You've also been working.
On Lords of the Fallen.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm enjoying that game.
Okay, before we get to that, Jordan has a complaint. That, for the record, I actually think he's wrong.
I also agree. I think for once I'm going to side with David.
I get his frustration. I think
it's going to change the way I race.
I think his anger is misplaced, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I have two complaints, and they're both about multiplayer. The first complaint is when I qualify.
Just tell the story.
Yeah, no, I usually qualify between 5 and 10, right? I'm usually in between there. This particular race, I qualified, I think 7.
Okay.
Which is really good because
that's solid.
Yeah, I'm playing people that have been doing this forever, right? I would even say maybe some of them are professional drivers. So
feels like I'm at that level with my Logitech wheel.
So I'm playing, and it's a good race. It's an 8-lap race. We're going through. We're on probably lap 5. And there's this huge straightaway, and because I'm shifting, I come out of this corner hot.
Oh, yeah, you're shifty.
Because you can tell who's shifting and who's not because you can come out of things faster.
Oh, way faster.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I come out and I'm in 6th at this point.
Yeah.
So I've made it up one position. It's been a good race. I'm racing clean. And what happens
What are you
is
wearing?
You wearing gloves?
I actually ordered driving gloves. off of Amazon.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
Because I get it. It does.
Sucks.
Yeah, when you're holding, because I race a wheel and pedals and all that.
Be cool when you wear your gloves, so don't Velcro them and like flip over the flaps.
Just have them loose.
It's cool.
Business casual.
Yeah, be cool.
So
Friday business casual.
so anyway, we're on a straight. We're coming out of a turn and we're on this long straightaway. And I'm passing this guy, and I actually clicked into 5th because my car's ahead of him now, right? And I'm like, and I'm excited because I'm like, all right, this is the first time I'm in the top 5. I'm racing good. Maybe we can even get up to it, and then I can even podium, right? I'm thinking that already.
It's the goal.
This Dingleberry then does the old California pit maneuver on me when
Which is explain it to people.
well, when you're trying to catch a criminal running away in a car, they hit the back of your car so you spin out.
like the back corner.
Yeah, so you spin out, right? Everybody knows what the pit maneuver is, right?
What's the California pit maneuver?
Well, I think they invented it.
Oh, it just happens more often in California?
Yeah, well, I think
LAPD does a lot
they
more car
literally, I
chases.
think they literally invented it. Yeah.
Actually, I want to see a statistic with that because every helicopter car chase scene I've ever seen has taken place in California.
Yeah, I think it's a deal. It's a thing.
Yeah,
It's a thing that happens.
It's actually good TV.
Los Angeles.
So if no one gets hurt, but anyway. So I'm doing that, and he spins me out. And I lost
So
it.
what night was it? Because for the record,
It was me and Blake was there.
for
He
the
was-
record,
I was
all
pissed.
I didn't even respond because I don't want to know. All we get, we're in a group text. All we get is
It's random, out of nowhere.
out of nowhere, an angry rage text.
You want me to read it?
Read it out loud. Read it out loud.
Let me pull it up.
Read it out loud.
Keep going.
Okay.
All we got was this rage text from Jordan, and I was like, I don't want to know what happens, but I'm sure he got pissed at someone.
Yeah, I did.
Do you have it?
I
You
did.
have it, Spicy?
Oh, yeah, it's right
There it
here.
is.
In the we have
What's
discussions.
what's the time on it?
We're
It's
talking
like at night.
I think it was about like 9:30 or
it's
something
like
like that.
10:30 at night. We're talking like Baldur's Gate 3. This is our general discussions with each other, and just randomly, we haven't talked in a while. It's just Forza multiplayer has a major flaw! 4 exclamation marks. None of us respond. None of us say anything.
I just look at it. Because I was racing at the time, and I look at it and go, something
4
happened.
exclamation marks. That's not your typical 1
Yeah.
or 3.
It was a rage. It was a rage
No.
text.
So
That's a major flaw.
No.
Were you expecting us to say, "Oh, Jordan, what is it?"
no, I was mad. I was super mad. Ask Blake, I didn't let it go the rest of that race.
I was
Like,
gonna,
I
was gonna
lost it.
respond. I was gonna respond with, "Don't use the steering wheel."
Yeah. No, so what happened was I got spun out into
right, this
into
is
the
an example.
dirt. Yeah.
This is exactly this.
Into the dirt. So
Notice Mark was
what
able to hang
happens
on, though.
is I got
because I refuse to go into his line. You see me back off? Do you see that?
well, this is why I'm saying it was on a straightaway. I was not going into his line because I know
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
going to be like, "Oh, Jordan, you went into his
Also,
line."
I
This
think
was
Jordan
pure
has-
on a straightaway.
I think Jordan has simulation steering on, which I have on, which you spin out way easier.
when I can't see like behind,
Yeah,
like
because you're
I'm
on
in
the hood.
I'm on the hood. Yeah. So anyway, so
got a rear view mirror?
I get he wasn't behind me. It was to the side. It was just in the pit maneuver.
in your
So
blind spot.
yeah, I didn't even hear his sirens or anything.
Why? So what makes you so mad about that? That's racing,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah,
So
no,
he pits
no.
you.
What
He
makes
pits
me
you.
so mad is I get spun out and I'm in the dirt, right? And as this happens, I see 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I get bumped back all the way to like 16, 17, right?
Okay.
This race had like 20 something people in it. Meanwhile, so I'm out. I lost the race. I went from having a great race, potentially podium, to
Podium
pretty
potential.
much I'm
Ladies
in the
and gentlemen,
yeah,
he had podium
yeah.
potential.
PP.
Yeah, to pretty much last place. It was like 20 out of 22. It was ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
With only a couple laps left. Meanwhile, this guy gets a 1 second penalty.
Okay.
He finished in 5th.
What?
That
Okay.
1 second penalty does nothing.
What should he get?
A 5 to 10 second penalty. He caused a crash and ruined the race for me.
But did he cause the crash?
I believe there should be an add-on to the game that is a governing body of racing like the FIA is for Formula 1. So someone can call in and say, hey, this jerkwad did this. And they go,
but-
okay, give him his spot back.
Yeah, but no. This is racing, though. Like, that's going to happen.
There's rules
that's
in
gonna
racing.
happen in multiplayer.
Although during my rant, because I was pissed, you can ask Blake, I would not let it go. And he was
I
just
can
there.
imagine.
He was just I feel bad because he was like, hey, I know, man. I know it sucks. I know, man. He was trying to comfort me.
Yeah.
I was mad. And I started talking about like racing rules and stuff like this, and you know how like because we've been getting really into F1, you know. And I asked him about NASCAR because he's a big NASCAR guy, and he was like, yeah, there's no rules in NASCAR. He says that's actually kind of what's cool about it because if you ram someone in the wall, you better look out next week because they're coming for you.
That's the thing. For
But I'm
me-
never gonna see that guy again.
No, for me, that's racing though. That's going to happen.
so-
You go into that knowing that.
No, it's a flaw of thing because
How is it flawed?
Because why
Jordan.
do I care about my driver safety? You know what I'm gonna do now? I am gonna nail every single car and use them on the corner,
And then your driver
And then you're
safety is
gonna
gonna
win.
plummet.
and then I'm gonna win. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Your
I
flaw
could-
isn't with Forza. Your flaw is with racing.
Let me explain to you.
I care nothing for driver safety anymore. I am gonna rub the heck out of everybody.
explain
when
to
I,
you. Let me explain to you. It's I am sure it was not that obvious. That's why it's only a 1 second. It's not like he T-boned you.
No.
You know what I mean?
You could feel he turned because when I was spinning out, you could see him going like he did it on purpose. He turned into
You're
it.
like, look at that. Look
If
at this, though. Look
if
at
I
this.
had
this
my
is racing,
if I
baby.
had
Look at that guy should be pissed. Look, Spicy's able to hold on.
yeah, that guy probably is pissed. If my microphone was on, I would have had a few choice words. For
He
it.
would probably blame me, but it was actually the inside car that got me into his.
This
lane.
was literally just me and him.
I know. Okay, first of all, let me validate your frustration because I too would be frustrated. Having said that,
We've all been there,
yeah,
Jordan.
having said that, that's what racing. That's what this game is.
But that's what. Well, okay, cherry on top for everything else. After the game, my safety rating was fine. But to be honest, who cares about that crap? I don't care if you're a dirty racer as long as you win the trophy.
Well,
No one cares if you're a dirty racer if you win.
You just got done complaining, saying you do care.
No,
if
no,
you're
just
dirty.
spent
well,
a good 20 minutes
that's what I'm saying.
complaining about that.
I did until that point, and now I'm thinking because what happened was my safety rating was still an S, but my car rating plummeted like 400 points.
Yeah,
and
because-
I'm like, no,
Okay,
okay.
so here's the thing.
I don't care if
This is why
I can be an F in safety if I'm number one on the
This
track.
is why I've stayed away from multiplayer until I become
a god.
not a god, but like halfway competent.
Okay.
See, look at me
Yeah.
nudge that guy totally.
Okay.
Because you're racing online against wide variety of players, but a lot of players who have literally thousands and thousands of hours in Forza over the years, have every track memorized, know the ins and outs, know how to control their car,
Yeah.
know how to get past people inside, outside, doesn't matter, know what's a penalty, what's not a penalty. I just need to get 10% of the way there of those 1,000-hour guys. This is not a game this is not a game that we are ever going to compete with those guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
It
Jordan.
was really frustrating.
Also-
And I'm just going to say cherry on top, and this is my second complaint about Forza, is they need to fix their networking multiplayer crap.
Yeah,
Because
there
and
is
look,
sometimes, yeah.
and look, maybe it's because I'm getting older, and as I get older, my patience gets lower. But and I've been playing a lot of Lords of the Fallen, so I'm just generally upset this week. And they need to fix their network issues too.
Oh, yeah.
But look,
and their memory leaks.
Forza, it's been what, 7 years since the previous Forza game? So you've had 7 years to work on it. You've also done multiplayer in the past, so it's not new to you, and you have Microsoft backing you. Why is it so hard to get into a multiplayer match? The cherry on top was the next match. I got in. I was in the middle of a qualifying thing and got disconnected because of multi. And it was just. And how many times have we played where we have to quit and reload? It's just it's.
Were you hardwired?
I'm frustrated.
Were you hardwired?
Yeah, I am hardwired. Yeah.
Jordan, also-
I understand why race car drivers fight each other.
Yeah.
You're also part of the growing pains of the initial launch. A, with networking, and B, with the safety rating. I think the safety rating is going to eventually, over time, give that guy his own league, and your S rating.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
will all be with all the S ratings in a month. The racing's going to be phenomenal. You're not going to be near that guy.
Just so you know, I'm a B rating. I am that. I am that guy.
I have
But
not.
your score is higher.
I have not raced since that day, and I feel bad for the people who are racing with me next because I'm gonna be aggressive. Like There's going to be some
You're not
frustration.
going to have an S rating anymore. Then you're going to be.
If I would rather have a 4,000 car rating and a F safety rating.
Okay. You're probably going to get the biggest player base and the lower safety ratings.
Tom Brady was called a cheater one season in the NFL. He won the Super Bowl that year. Do you think he cares? Nope.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
exactly what you were just yelling at.
No, that's my new mindset.
Oh, okay.
I mean, a lot of baseball players were the number one
let's-
home runners, and they cheated. And now they're not.
Let's end with your very stressful Lords of Fallen experience this week, guys.
Well, actually, I actually think Lords of the Fallen is. Me and Mark were talking about this, and we disagreed on how many times we fought a boss. But I actually think Lords of the Fallen is actually like easier than a Dark Souls game. I think the difficulty is actually. I think the difficulty is actually really solid on Lords of the Fallen. What makes it incredibly hard is their networking is terrible for multiplayer, and they have a bunch of little stuff that is just frustrating to deal with. And like, for example. Do you know how many times?
My kid's banging down this door right now. It's funny. Okay, sorry, Jordan.
Now, to my knowledge, this has never happened to me in a From Software game, or as much as it happens here. Do you know how many times I like dodge roll, and it's a fine dodge roll, and then all of a sudden you're stuck in this wall and cannot move, and the boss just wails, and you're like, there's lots of little things like that are just like, are you kidding me? Like, why? In addition, me and Mark have been playing, and their networking is okay. The performance that there's needs to be a couple.
So
patches.
there's a known memory leak on both the console and the on Windows, and it over time that's what causes the frame drops.
Yeah,
It gets so bad. Like I have had it to where it's one frame every 3 seconds.
yeah, it's
Wow.
bad. And you're just
It's
like
So when it's
and
not-
when somebody invaded me, and he was terrible. I could have destroyed him. I did, but then it right in the middle of the fight. So I hit him. He had 5% health left. I had enough, and right in the middle of the fight, it just went frame froze, and then again, and then you hear the chime. Go to the next slide. That it's just, and then I'm dead. I was like, oh my. Of all the things on an invasion, you want to have you don't want that to happen in the game. For one thing.
So overall, right now, it's just. Would you advise waiting till they get that fixed out to jump into this game?
I honestly, I really like this game.
it's
just
I like it too.
Get the performance to be fixed. The game is it's as Dark Souls as you can be.
Well, what it reminds me of is actually Dark Souls 1 had a super intricate, interconnected map. Like the way the map connected to each other was really good.
And the game engine sucked.
Yeah, Dark Souls 2.
Just like this one.
Yeah, Dark Souls 2 didn't have as much of a intertwining, like it had it, but it wasn't as in depth as Dark Souls 1. And then Dark Souls 3 kind of did a little bit more. But this game, it kind of reminds me of Dark Souls 1 from the map design. And it actually, to be honest, actually makes me want to go back to Dark Souls 1. I was talking to Mark. I think Dark Souls 1 is the only Dark Souls I haven't beaten. Yeah, because I remember we played that originally on the 360. I picked up the remastered version, but never played it. And I think I got probably about 80% through. But I remember, by the time I really started getting into From Software games, Dark Souls 2 had come out by that point. So we played a lot of that on Steam, and then 3, and then Sekiro, and so on and so forth. But
T-Bex in chat says, how does it compare to Elden Ring? That's the only From Software game you've played.
Well, I mean...
So mechanically, it's very similar, but it is not open world. It is very linear, and in order to go to new places and get better gear and stuff like that, you have to A, beat bosses, or B, find new routes. And
What did you prefer, the open world or the linear in this style?
I think this is the kind I like, although Elden Ring was really, really cool, and I think it's...
Well, Elden Ring did both, kind of. Like, it wasn't as interconnected because of its open world, but they had that linear dungeon feel at points in the game when you were doing, like, main story scenarios and stuff like that.
David, it's like Forza Horizon versus Forza Motorsport. It's what you're in the mood for.
Yeah.
It's different. And I like this. It brings me back. There's a lot of nostalgia because this is a Dark Souls game on an old Dark Souls engine.
Yeah. Because of I would say I think Elden Ring is the better game. Witcher 3 used to be, in my opinion, the greatest game ever made. I think Elden Ring has surpassed that as one of the best games ever made.
Elden Ring is better than Witcher 3 to you?
They're very close, but I believe if I had to be on a desert island for the rest of my life, I'd probably pick Elden Ring over Witcher 3.
Okay.
Soulfinder.
I mean, that's fair. I can't say you're wrong because
they're both top tier.
They're both.
But
top
the
tier.
one thing I would say that From Software games have, let's say the modern From Software games, maybe Sekiro forward, combat, although similar, feels better in Elden Ring, and I think it feels better because it feels tighter. Does that make sense? Like when I swing and hit an enemy, it feels better. I would say
crunchier.
Yeah, crunchier. It just more responsive. Like this game has iframes, but the iframes in Elden Ring are tighter, which means they're more precise and it feels better. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I would.
Right. This is. I honestly feel like this is based on Dark Souls 1 engine.
No, yeah.
It's not based on Elden
Funny
Ring.
enough, they're actually using Unreal Engine 5, but they got that feel down.
So Soulfinder in chat says, I want to play this game, but the first one was very tough and not that great.
If you've played Elden Ring, I don't think this game is harder than Elden Ring.
Okay.
I mean, I really like it, but
Did either of you play the OG? I think we had it and we maybe jumped in for a second, but it wasn't.
Did we?
It was like, man, okay.
It was forever ago. Yeah. Now, here's my question for you, Mark. Do you feel, and this is probably, again, like, it's hard to compare it to Elden Ring because Elden Ring is like, that's like,
it's a better game.
They had 6 games to perfect Elden. You know what I mean? This game only had 1, right? The original Lords of the Fallen. Would you say boss fights are better in Elden Ring or From Software games? Because I feel sometimes that the bosses have a lot of gotcha moments, and I do not like that because it's not
in Lords of
the Fallen, and I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm not taking the time to learn the fight enough because I just beat them so quickly.
Okay.
You know.
Well, there are many Elden Ring bosses that give me like gamer PTSD. I don't.
Maybe.
Gotcha moments. How about a big planet from the sky coming down and killing you?
I did block that the first time. I was like, oh, I bet you I gotta hide behind this stone thingy.
Like,
and then I just hear.
Consider that a gotcha moment?
I just hear because I was like, I don't know what's happening, but because you can see the flare come around. I was like, I'm gonna hide behind this stone, and then seriously, like a second and a half later, I just hear, I'm dead.
Are you talking about Lords of the Fallen?
Yeah.
I'm talking about
meteor. Yeah,
I'm talking about the battlefield boss where he, in his second phase in Elden Ring, pulls a Thanos from the sky.
But that's what I'm saying. You know, like, okay, I got to get out of the way of that.
Not the first time I played him. The first time you're like, what in the hell just
Do you feel
happened?
like in Elden Ring, or let's just say Dark Souls 3, right? Are the bosses better telegraphed in those games than they are in this game? Because I feel like
I would say actually. So
maybe it's hit and miss because there's some boss, like the boss we did last night was very fun, and I guess you could say it's somewhat of a gimmick fight, but it was a good fight.
But see, so I learned his moveset. The boss we're talking about is a giant in Lords of the Fallen, a lava giant, I guess you could call it, and his moveset was very clear. His hand would do something. His hand would go up, and then he'd like wiggle his fingers, and then that's when the lava would come from the sky, and you'd have to run. He would go. His whole body would move down and open his mouth, and that's when the hand would come out and grab you.
Yeah.
I feel like Lords of the Fallen is very telegraphed too.
What about the flesh? We're just talking about big bosses because there's like the sinners and stuff like that. What about like the flesh monster? Do you feel like he was pretty well telegraphed?
I think we just ran up and killed him.
I guess you're right.
I believe we didn't even.
I don't know.
That was, I would consider him one of the earlier bosses, so we didn't really have to learn his moveset. Although in Elden Ring, the first boss you fight on that bridge, you had to learn him.
So
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had to, you have to learn the bosses.
Now this being all said, I think this is a good game. I would say wait for performance patches before you spend $60 or however much it costs.
Just wait like 2 weeks.
But other than that, like I actually do think this is a very good Souls-like game. Is it as good as From Software games? I mean, maybe some of them.
No,
But, you know.
if you were to go back and play Dark Souls 1, I'll say it again.
Which, by the way, I'm going to. I have a demo, yeah.
I got so pissed at the gimmick. It's not gimmicky. It's just the character, the game engine would screw up sometimes. You'd hang up on a wall. You'd fall off a cliff. It was the engine's fault that got you mad.
That's kind of how this is.
That's this game. It is not like the Elden Ring. It had that to a far lesser extent. Yeah. It was your fault you died.
Two things I do want to say, though. One, they have two specific mechanics. One is called a wither mechanic. Fantastic feature. In a nutshell, what it is let's say you have a shield that blocks 50% of damage. You hold that shield up, it'll block 50% of the damage, and the other 50% will turn your health bar white, which is called wither, and you can actually get that health back by damaging the enemy. I actually think what I like about it is I actually think it rewards aggressive but smart gameplay, and I think that's a really good balance to have.
If you get hit though, why that's on there?
Yeah, you lose it all.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit. The other thing that I think is actually, in my opinion, really well done, and something we had to get, at least me, had to get used to at the beginning, is your lamp and going into the second world. So there's Umbral, which is a completely second world.
It's the upside down.
Yeah, basically it's the upside down. But there's a lot of cool puzzles and ways to complete these puzzles and different items and secrets by switching between the two worlds that I think is really well done and very well designed. Very, very cool feature. Those are my two favorite features of the game. Problem is every time I go into Umbral, my FPS takes a crap. Especially when you're in multiplayer.
That as soon as they got to fix.
Yeah,
they got to fix it.
But those two features, really cool. I think it's a good game. I'm enjoying it.
That does us for this week, everybody. If you have enjoyed this conversation and want to see more, maybe a little bit unfiltered, then come join us in the Members Lounge, happening immediately after this. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. For everybody that's here that is a member, if you just stay here, you will automatically be redirected to the Members Lounge. And, have a good week.
Yeah.
By the way, just train your character in Forza, guys, or your Drivatar to just ram Jordan off the road every time you see him.
Just as a statement.
Have a good one, everyone.